Okay, so welcome to the first or one of the first 20 feet live sessions. And actually, I'm the guest and Susan Silver is the host. But as I was kind of in possession of the technology or in a configuration of a Ustream technology, I'm kind of steering this thing, and Susan is going to be steering the content part. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you, Martin. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with PowerEPlayers today and talk with me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Welcome.
Yeah. So, I always like asking the first question, which is just, what is 20 Feet about? What does your service do?
Okay, actually 20 Feet is a what we call ego tracking software. We're focusing mainly on social media at the moment, but the product vision is much broader than that. Actually, ego tracking is tracking everything that is around yourself. Like if we stay on social media like Twitter or Facebook or YouTube, you have a Twitter account and you want to know how many followers do I have right now? That's easy. You can just go to your profile and see that. But you might also want to know how does that develop? And you might want to know this not only for your personal profile, but for your company's profile and maybe your client's profile. And you want to know the same for your Facebook fans. And you want to know the same for your retweets that you get on Twitter and the likes you get on Facebook and the comments you get on YouTube and the views you get on YouTube and the clicks you get on Bitly and MySpace and so on, whatever you have. We have integrated a couple of services already that we track automatically on a daily basis, meaning that for Google Analytics, we take everything out that you have in charts in Google Analytics, like page visitors, page views, unique visits, goal conversions, and so on. And we pull them all together and aggregate all these stats in one place. So you get all your Twitter metrics, all your Facebook metrics, all your YouTube metrics, all your Google Analytics metrics in one place on 20 feet. And yeah, that's pretty much what our service does.
So do you guys integrate with blogs yet? Like you get like a mention on a blog or somebody writes about you or something like that going on? Or do you plan on doing that too?
Actually, yeah, we have high plans and ideas on how to improve that. WordPress is very high on our list of services that we want to connect so that you can connect your own WordPress blog. Actually, I think we should differentiate between listening to the groundswell or listening to social media activities and analyzing your own results. What we are pretty weak in at the moment is listening to what others say. So if you have a brand like Coca-Cola and you want to know what do people say about Coca-Cola on the web or on social media, that's not what 20 Feet is for. It's rather that you are Coca-Cola and you want to know how does my brand develop based on like numbers that people would use to measure their success, like followers, retweets, page likers, comments, likes on Facebook, and so on.
And so it just kind of gives you feedback on your own performance right now.
Exactly. We have a so-called activity stream that helps you to understand where there are movements that are outstanding. If you want, I can show this real quick. Actually, if this is 20 feet, and if you log in, then there's you go to your account, and it has all these charts that we were talking about for Bitly, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Google Analytics, and MySpace. And there on the right side, you have this activity stream that tells you the number of monthly active users for 20 feet went up or whatever. So this is mostly about 20 feet page here, but you can get this for all these services. And this activity stream will nudge you and tell you, look, this is outstanding. Nobody wants to know if I gain like 5 new followers per day on Twitter, I don't want 20 Feet to tell me that I won 5 new followers. But if you are Robert Scoble and you only win 5 followers, then this is a very bad day. You might want to know that. So 5 new followers per day may be a very good performance for somebody who just started out, or a very bad performance for somebody who's like King Kong on Twitter. And so 20 Feet takes this into account. We have a so-called expected value or a expected range that we have. And as long as your values are within this expected range, we won't say anything. We only tell you, look, this is outstandingly good or outstandingly bad. And for every, that's available for every variable.
Cool. I actually have been using the service, and I really like getting those daily emails coming into my box. It makes me feel really good when I see I've done something really outstanding for the day, and kind of gives some validation to me to know that, you know, I was on Twitter today and I spoke to this many people, and, you know, because of that, I gained like 5 or 6 new followers, and it makes me feel really good. So I really enjoy getting the email updates every day. One of our mission is to make people understand what makes me successful on the web. So what can I do to become more successful or less? And actually, we don't tell you so much what exactly you have to do. We just tell you how your numbers develop. It's kind of a number crunching service that we offer with. It's a statistically grounded method, a regression analysis that we do. And it's pretty helpful as it can be individual. Yeah. So I guess we have, oh, sorry. Oh, is that me? Sorry, I'm not.
Yeah, it's kind of an echo. I didn't say anything.
So I guess the next question is just what inspired, you know, for 20 Feet's existence? What was the thinking behind it? What inspired it to come into being?
I would want to say something else, like we just needed it ourselves, because it's a if you're asking people, a lot of those founders say, look, we just needed it ourselves, so it wasn't available, so we created it. And I've been thinking of a cool story that I could tell, that actually we just needed it ourselves. So I don't know, it's just like you have hundreds, I don't know if you can say thousands of social media analytics tools, like things that want to be like Radian 6 or Sysomos or however the big players are called. And what they do is they are just listening to the groundswell. They are listening to what social media tells you about yourself, but they don't connect to the accounts that you use yourself. So the approach that 20 Feet goes is pretty unique in just focusing on what are my own stats. And so if you are, I'm working for an agency, and this agency founded 20 Feet, and it's a different company, but so it's called Cyber Media. And if you are looking for Cyber Media on Twitter, you'll find hardly anything. It's just like if you're asking what are people telling about Martin Siebert or Siebert Media on Twitter, the answer is nothing. So they are just not talking about us. So I could say, okay, so let's get this Radian 6 going to pay $1,000 a month to get like 4 or 5 mentions and analyze this. And everybody will say, oh, this is a waste of money. And so 20 Feet is very good if you're a small company and you just want to focus on, am I growing? Am I doing the right things? And 20 Feet is also a cool addition if you are a very big company and you just want to see, how do my numbers develop? If you are a very big company, you'll have to use other tools also. We are not like on Hootsuite, you can tweet and you can automate and you can have some panels where you can monitor things, and nothing of that is available in 20 Feet. 20 Feet is just the metrics.
Okay, that's cool. So just talking about the website, so I was looking over the website earlier and kind of
how unique it is compared to other sites that you come to. Like you guys have that really nice giraffe logo, and the site design is very simple. And I went to like the description page, and you guys have those short bits and then those long bits, and I wonder what inspired the thinking behind doing it that way to explain the company.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I just show this really quick so that people know what you're talking about. So if you go to www.20feet.com, then you'll find this giraffe here, and I think you're talking about the About page, where we have all these...
Yeah, out and it says something about subscription, and then it goes to a page where there's like a one-sentence description, and then a little bit longer, and it gets longer as you go.
Yeah, exactly. These are the descriptions of the page. Actually, the description of the page, we have a very short one, and one that is shorter than a tweet, and some sentences, and a longer one. It's just like for bloggers, they find like text samples and images if they want to post a blog post about 20 feet. So we thought it might be helpful to have some text there. And actually, we also talk about how the name 20 feet and all this stuff was created. Actually, the tallest male recorded as a giraffe was 10 meters tall, like 20 feet tall. And that's when we initially we thought, oh, let's look, what can we do to have a unique service that will stand out from a marketing perspective, that can be recognized by people. And then we used brainstorming techniques. And one of the brainstorming techniques our designers came up with were, let's imagine our service. It was called, reporting portal tool. That was internal, like 20 feet was reporting portal tool or something. I don't know. It was a very cumbersome name that we had internally. And let's assume that this name or this tool would be an animal. So what would it be? And then we had different types of animals. And oh, squirrels, they are so cute. Let's take a squirrel. But what does a squirrel do? It's a thief, and I don't know. Do we want to be that? No, we want to be like comfortable. We want to be like easy to use. We want to be like an overview giving. And then we thought, oh, it could be giraffe. A giraffe doesn't do much, just stands around and eats something. And then, I don't know, if you're in a zoo and you're looking at a giraffe, it will hardly ever do too much but walking around and eating something. And so we thought, okay, so our service is going to eat a lot, and then it's going to give you a lot of insight because it's so big. And then we thought, and then our designers did some research and found out on Wikipedia that the biggest giraffe is 20 feet tall. So 20 feet was the name. And actually, I'm pretty proud because we won a well-known design prize, at least in Europe, for 20 feet. And this way, it was like kind of, somebody giving us a pat on the back and saying, that's cool. And actually, we get quite good feedback on the marketing for 20 feet also.
Yeah, I have to add to it, that really appealed to me when I saw the website. Good design, I think, breeds, I don't know how to say it, but it's good for marketing for sure. When you have a really good design, it really draws attention to the product. So I thought that was one of the best things on the site, was just the way it was branded and the way that it looked and how simple it is to use. And to go in and, you just connect your account and you already have some graphs in a couple of minutes to an hour or so. I think you even get an email when it's gotten all your data to let you know that it's ready. So it's very easy to use service.
Yeah. Actually, thanks for this nice feedback.
Yeah. So I think we've covered most of my questions already.
Yeah.
Just in the natural progression of our conversation. So is there anything else you'd like to say about 20 feet or the product or the future direction that you're going in? Actually,
I'm kind of uneasy at the moment because we're so lame at developing new features, but at the moment we are kind of suffering from growth
it's kind of we can't develop new features because we have to make sure that the existing features just work the way they should. It's just like every other day we have to turn down a web server or fix this or that because the Twitter API calls are not fast enough to get all the. There were like problems when we once a day we update the values for every user and every account, and the 20 feet calls on Twitter, they took 25 hours. And the problem, it's just like self-explaining what problem you get, because if you can't fulfill or finish the calls you have in one day, then you'll be in trouble. So then we thought about, okay, so what are we going to do? We just get less data. So can we kick something out, or can we optimize the processes to get more at the same time? And can we? And the problem is that Twitter is a very overloaded service at the moment. A lot of API calls, they just answer with, "Oh, I'm sorry, come back later. We're busy." And so in a lot of cases you can't help but just wait. And the question is, how long am I going to wait until I answer it again if I've gotten back? So come back later. Is it like 10 seconds? Is it 10 minutes? Is it an hour? So if I wait an hour and then only 24 will mean that I have waited one day. And so there's a lot of programming behind just doing this simple task of getting one simple data tuple per day. And so that keeps us busy even in the next weeks. And this was just like getting the daily data for every user. And then additionally, we had a lot of signups each day, and the signups came on top. So we had like, it was just like, the more we grew, the less data we could deliver, and the less usability and utility did the users get. So actually, this has been, I was always like, okay, that's working again. And we say, whoo, cool. So let's go on. And then on the next day, it was like, oh, yesterday that was enough, but today it's not enough anymore. So, and it was like, now we have multiple web servers and multiple database servers, and still it's kind of, if we turn on a new server at the moment, we can't turn it off again. Normally you just say, okay, if I scale, you want to scale up and you want to scale down also. And actually we can only scale up at the moment. So if we turn on a new server at the moment, we can't turn it down again, because people might lose their session, and then they have to re-log in, they have to empty their browser cache, they have to, and you won't be able to explain that to anybody. So you just don't turn down a new server. And it's kind of, we only have the possibility to scale up at the moment. It's no problem, as the service is growing at the moment, but it could go the other way around, or we could just say, oh, costs are too high, we have to do something else. Or, yeah. So that's the state we are in. So people have to bear with us and wait some time for letting us make the service more stable and more scalable. I'm pretty positive that we're going to do that, but it's going to take some time. And actually, in the end, I would hope that we can expand the mission of ego tracking to more than social media. At the moment, I think that a lot of people say, oh, this is so cool what you're doing in social media, and we get a lot of very good feedback. There, maybe I can pull this up. There's a page about testimonials for 20 feet. Where we so if you're interested in that as a viewer, you might just go through this page, and we have like Robert Scoble say something, or Lars Hendricks, who's the CEO of Xing or Crossing, however you call this in America, I don't know. or the press spokesman for Google said something, or Mari Smith, and so on. So a lot of people saying flattering things about 20 feet, and actually that's pretty cool. But they are always referring, as this is the only thing we're doing, about social media metrics, and there are like hundreds or thousands of social media metrics companies out there, and I think that we can do more than social media metrics. We can offer, like, I don't know if, let me ask you a question. Is ego tracking sounding negative?
I think there is a negativity that's associated with ego, but I don't know how it is in other cultures, and I know in the Western culture, like we say, you know, that person's being egotistical, you know, everybody's saying somebody's full of themselves. But at the same time, it is kind of like, what are we doing on social media? A lot of people are doing it for vanity and other things. So ego is not necessarily a bad word at all. It just refers to a lot of the actions that we do online.
Yeah.
So
actually,
it really depends on your perspective, I think, when you hear that term, how you're going to take it.
Yeah, actually, from a German perspective, it has a narcissistic touch. Would you say that? Like, it's kind of, it has a negative touch. Actually, there were like two things. First of all, we wanted to coin this term, and as it's a new term, so we wanted it to be our term. There are, like, on Quora, people are telling about self-tracking, which might be more neutral. And ego tracking is maybe just the same, just like the term we want to coin. And actually, it doesn't only consist of social media, in my opinion. I would love people to be able to track other things about themselves, like cigarette consumption, or amount of coffee cups you drank on a day, or amount of computer games you played, or amount of hours of computer gaming that you did per day. Like, to use an ego tracker like 20 feet to track your good or bad habits. How often did I exercise this week? And this is something that might sound kind of weird from just on a theoretical base, but actually we're working on improving our service to leverage that on an easy and comfortable way for users. Because today, what are you going to do if you want to track your cigarette consumption? I don't know, maybe you're going to create a Excel spreadsheet and just put it in there, just the date and the number of cigarettes you smoked. And it's going to be not very comfortable. And so we're working on things to help this and to make this, yeah, it's very important for us to make 20 feet a service that is very easy to set up, that you can just set up and then lean back and just wait. And it's the same thing for, or it should be the same thing for manual tracking things. But at the moment, manual tracking with Excel necessarily means trouble. You have to have a computer, you have to have Excel on, you have to remind yourself to put everything in, and this is I'd say in slang, PETA. And maybe it's, or I'm hoping that 20 Feet can offer an answer on that. This would be something that I would hope for the future to be able to deliver with this service also, apart from social media analytics.
Well, I think that's really interesting, because then you're starting to hit on some psychological concepts. My background is psychology, actually my degree, my bachelor's.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea of where you go in and you track every day, and then, you know, if you did like the same thing with an email, that would change, you know, show you the significant changes in your behaviors. That would be like positive and negative reinforcement, sort of from the behaviorism angle of psychology. So I think it's kind of interesting that, you know, you call it ego tracking, which is like another psychological term that, you know, is used when we talk about the ego, and then you talk about, you know, tracking our habits. And it's just really interesting, the sort of things that can be done from there if you guys go in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of fascinating. I'd like to see what happens with that and how that develops.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, for me, that would be mostly it. If you have another question, feel free to ask.
Oh, I guess one of the things that I thought about while I was listening was just the way that you guys have chosen to monetize, where I believe it's something like you can track Twitter for free and one other service, and then you pay with credits for other services. I don't know how much of it you can talk about the decision to do it that way, but I thought that was kind of interesting, especially in the choices that you made for what should be free.
Yeah.
And what should.
Okay, at the moment it is like you get 2 forever free accounts from 20feet. So if you are registered with 20feet, this is naturally for free. And you get 2 accounts for free, which is one Twitter account, whatever Twitter account you want, and one Facebook profile. Facebook pages are for charge always. It's only like a Facebook user profile that is also for free. These 2 profiles are for free forever. So what we had in mind is we wanted to have the private user who might have a Twitter and a Facebook profile to use 20feet for free. So we gave these 2 accounts for free away. And as soon as you have a page, it might be a I don't know, economical reason that you want to track this. It's going to be for a charge. The charge is very low. We only charge $2.49 per year. It's just like, if you look at other services that do similar things, they start at $10 a month. So something like $120 per a year. And we are like $250 per year. And it's just like that cheap. And it pays off if you have a lot of users using it.
Yeah, so I was thinking, like, if you're like a small business that needs tracking, it doesn't make sense to have one of those really big platforms. Maybe you only have that Facebook page and a Twitter and like a fan page, and maybe you're using like Bitly. You can pick and choose the services that you want to track, and you don't have to have like that huge package. And I think that's beneficial for small business people.
Yeah.
To be able to have those insights without having to pay like $500 or something for something.
Actually we have a lot of users who pay something between $5 and $15 or $20 to track everything they have, in my opinion. And it's just like we do plan to offer more services that will cost more. But at the moment, this is not our problem. The problem is to make stable what we have, and what we have will cost what it costs. We won't change like a credit to cost $5, in my opinion. What we'd rather do is we'll offer additional services. That might even be very expensive, but at the moment, things are very cheap at 20feet. Okay, so Susan, thank you very much for your time. Thanks for sharing this session with me. I'll be happy to answer more questions. Maybe you're going to do a blog post or something. This video is going to be on YouTube. And yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.